Welcome to the Space Between podcast. I am your co-host, Jacy Cunningham, here with my beautiful co-host, Joy Nittolo, and our esteemed guest, former boxer extraordinaire, former MMA fighter, Jeremy Williams. How you doing, brother?
Thank you. I'm very well, man. Thank you for
welcome,
having me. Guys, thank you for having me in the space between.
Space between. Well, first we're going to dig into a lot of your history. You were born in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Where the hell is that?
That is a small town in Iowa somewhere where the white people live on this side and the black people live on this side. And as you get closer to the line, you know, they sprinkle a little, but extremely left is this, extremely right is that, which is the craziest shit ever
really?
To me. Because my mother is white, my father's black.
So you had to deal with like, wow.
I didn't grow up there. I just tell you what it is.
Right. And so what I mean, honestly, what brought you to boxing? And when did you move to Long Beach?
I moved to Long Beach when I was like 3.
Okay.
So I mean, that's basically my hometown. I've been there. I went to junior high, high school, college. I didn't really go to college. but I did everything. I did everything in Long Beach. That's where I grew up. And my father introduced me to boxing like when I was like 6 years old. By this, like he bought a bag and put it in our backyard, and he's like, "Yeah, my sisters hit the bag," and they oof, oof, oof. And like, "Oh, thanks, that's cool." And he said, "Here, son, hit the bag." And I was like, "Shh, I'll hit the bag." And he said, "Well, hit it again." I'm like,
"Yeah, sound effects.
I'm done." That's how it sounds. That's a real sound. It's like technically, like I used to work for one of those people that do. Anyways, but so you know, my father was like, "Hit the bag," and I hit it, and I'll do it again. I hit the bag, and he said, "Keep hitting it." And I was like, "I don't want to hit it." And then I took the glasses off, and he said, "You're going to be a boxer." And I said, "I don't want to be a boxer." He said, "I didn't ask you if you want to be a boxer. You're going to be a boxer." I was like, "Okay." and it seemed like, you know, like instantly, I was in the gym like the next day. My dad, who obviously knew boxing as a visual sport, not as something. And my father, very, very creative, very smart man. He learned boxing and taught me how to box. So we were like in this process of learning the sport and how to do it together.
That's kind of cool, actually.
That is actually very, very
I give
cool.
My father was brilliant, brilliant man. Like could figure out things like crazy. Like I can't hit a baseball to save my life. My father could hit a baseball, shoot a basketball. I can do all of that. I'm not really a good athlete. I mean, but I'd never say that. but my father, like phenomenal, could do anything.
You played football.
I played football. But it's like, go hit that guy. No problem.
Got it.
I remember playing football. I used to play football, and the dude was like, I was a linebacker, and he's like, "All right, double XR, 15 slant, 35 reverse," and I'm like, "What the fuck do I do?"
Who do I have to hit?
And I'm like, Joe. This guy, my other linebacker dude named Joe Bear, rest in peace. I was like, "Where do I go?" He said, "Just go over there, hit that guy." Like, done.
Now I know. The only thing I know of Long Beach, honestly, before I came to California, was Snoop Dogg, because we all know that Snoop Dogg is from Long Beach,
LBC, yeah.
from the LBC.
Okay, so let me educate you on in my high school.
Okay.
At the same time.
Okay.
Cameron Diaz, Will McGinnis, Will McGinnis, New England Patriots.
Yeah, I remember USC.
Number 55,
55,
SC.
yeah.
Tyus Edney.
Basketball. Yes, I remember Tyus.
Tyus Edney. I'm talking at the same time. Twin from Twins got a son to go round and round.
Nah, you got me right there.
Dude, the twins. Anyways, Twins. Warren G.
Regulator.
And myself in high school at the exact same time.
Jeez Louise.
That's a TV series.
Bring him back.
What high school was that?
Long Beach Poly.
LBC. I mean, actually, you know what? I have a friend of mine whose brother went to Long Beach probably years ago. But anyway, so Long Beach from the age of 3.
Yep. 3.
Boxing since 6.
Yeah.
As far as like, because when I think of my childhood, my dad, used to whip my ass basically and everything. He was like, you gonna be tough, you gonna run fast, you gonna jump high. That's what it was. Was your father the same way?
My
Like, how'd he
father
train you?
was my father was like a Obi. What's the
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
He was like really. My father really creative, really tricky, very smart. You know, but like not school smart, but just like he just knew how to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And like he would watch some people boxing on TV, Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
Joe Louis. I mean, and then he would see a guy do a move, and then he'd teach himself the move and then make me do it. I say make me because I didn't want to do it. I wanted to get dirty and go play kickball or something, hide and go get it or whatever it is.
I'd go get it.
But you know, my father was super inspirational to me, and like he's my. I fucking hate to say, oh, he's my best friend. My mom's my not my best friend. My dad, and he was like, he let me know I'm dad, so you do what I tell you to do.
That's cool. That's real cool.
You know, it's like my dad wasn't my friend. My dad wasn't my.
Your dad wasn't dad.
My dad was dad.
Did you feel that he pushed you to a point to got to you? I mean, you obviously
Clearly
took you.
Yeah,
far.
my father pushed me when I didn't want to be pushed. He pushed me when I wanted to be pushed.
Yeah.
And then he made me. I say, you know, gave me the option, made me do what he wanted me to do because I was his child living in his house.
When was the first time you made a little bit of bread boxing? Like where you were
question.
like, this is now, you know,
I'm ready.
where you started to see, because you always had a little bit of light on you because of your record and the way you coming up.
Yeah.
But when it started to become where there was money
Man,
involved.
that was
and things,
okay.
like
So
this-
I'm like a young professional fighter at this point, and I can go before that. I remember this guy. His name is Johnny Ace.
Yo, Johnny Ace.
Yeah, Johnny Ace.
He called
Fuck out of here. Johnny Ace.
Ace in the room, yeah.
Fuck out of here, right? So he calls my dad from Detroit. It's a black dude.
Yeah.
He calls my father from Detroit. He goes, look, I have a boxing team in Detroit, and the Kronk boxing team beats us every year. And I want your son to come out and win this tournament. And you beat, you know, like the even up. I want your son to come out and beat this guy. You beat this guy, I'll give you X. I don't know what it was because I ain't get shit, but like, you know, like a bag of Twinkies or something. I ain't get shit. But like, so the dude flew us to Detroit, right? We stayed in his house, and this guy, and I told the guy, his name is Cotty King, right? He's my Instagram friend. I've known the guy since, you know, 15 to today or 14,
Yeah.
whatever. And he's a good dude, Cotty King in Detroit. And I went to Detroit, I'm like, and mind you, we're in the middle of winter. I'm bright because I'm a light-skinned black dude.
Light-skinned.
You dark, I'm light. And so I go to Detroit, and Detroit is all black at the time. And they're like, who that white boy? I'm like, me? And then, you know, I had a little attitude. I'm like, mother effer, who you call white boy? Huh? And then, so, you know, and I fight this guy named Cotty King, and I beat the brakes off him. And then from that moment on, I had like a reputation of being like a hired, not killer, but a hired fighter, you know? And I was like, my dad probably made, I don't know what he made. I made like $50. I got paid to fight. I mean, technically I didn't get paid, but
Right.
I got paid to go to Detroit and win this tournament for this guy. And that was like the first time I made some money. It was like, you know, whatever, $100. And the first time I made some substantial money, I was like, so I could buy this and that
and that
and
money.
that
And that money.
and that and still have money yet? They're like, yeah. I was like, I want it all. I want it all. Yeah, I know. I grew up poor. I mean, I say I grew up poor, but like, we were poor. Like, we were like regular poor. We weren't like dirt poor.
Yeah.
We were like, we ain't got no money to eat poor. We just like regular poor. You know, like,
Right.
all the bills paid, that's about it.
It was kind of like Dave Chappelle said that he says he grew up rich enough to be around white folk. That's how he says it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't that.
Not that.
Only white folks around my house was my mom and her friends.
Now in Long Beach and just in California and just period, growing up in like an impoverished area, or just growing up like you said you grew up? What did you get exposed to as far as gang culture?
Everything.
Yeah. So
Everything.
how was that growing up?
I remember at 11, maybe 11, 12 years old, I looked out my window. We live on the second floor. I looked down and I see some dude shooting heroin or whatever it is you shoot in your arm with a needle. And I was looking down like, damn, this is real. Right. And like, and this is like, I'm at home. I'm looking, and these people live right there and they shooting heroin. I was like, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen. I couldn't never figure out how people would use drugs to, because it was so foreign to me. Because like, mind you, I have a family full of addicts, but to me, like, it was so obtuse. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see it. I didn't have my first drink of alcohol until I was 30 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Power to you, brother.
Yeah, man. It's just the thing. Like, it was never.
Well, you trained your whole life. I've been always training, always fighting, always training, always training.
Always training, always boxing, always had something coming up.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of kids don't have things coming up. So what they do whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can't F around right now because in 2 weeks I got to go to Michigan. When I go to Michigan, from there, then I got to go to the Upper Peninsula and I got to go to the University of Northern Michigan because I got this tournament and I got to fight. And then like if I'm on Team USA, I made Team USA at 15 years old. Like the youngest junior national champion ever. I was from 14, 15 to 15 to 30 champion in the country. Like nobody could beat me. And like there was, I mean, I sound like but dude, like really, like I was born to fight, right? Because my father beat the fear out of me. He didn't physically beat me, but he beat it out of me. Like, why would you be scared of him? He's only got 2 arms and 2 legs, and you got the same thing. Or why would you fear that guy because he's taller than you? Why do you fear that? You don't fear anybody. You fear God, nobody. You don't fear anybody. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. My father was brilliant, like a strategist. He's like my father. He would work me up into like a trance or a rage, and like he would say this to me. I swear to God on my mother's life, rest in peace. Can no man beat you? And he would say that to me in my head. He would into my head, my ear. The whole time I'm getting ready for a fight. Can no man beat you? Can no one man beat you? Can no man beat you? Nobody beat you. You're born a champion. You're raised a champion. Can no man beat you? I mean, in saying this from 8 to I'm 28, like every day, no man can.
That's some wild shit.
That's wild, think about that. Like, that's wild.
Just have that instilled in your head.
I even think of it like
that's a mantra.
in certain perspectives, people would look at your dad and be like, he's wild. He beat you to the great dog. But I mean, to see what you became and also to see what you were kept from. You know, because when you got 2 weeks ahead of you got to do something, you know, it keeps you away from doing a lot of negative things.
Man, it's been
good job, Dad.
Like I look at my dad, I go, and mind you, my father has kind of went a little, But I think about, you know, the difference between a genius and a buffoon is what they do. A small, like my father's brilliant, and then he's just like kind of loses, you know.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah, and it does. And you know what? I used to be like, Dad, what? My father feared success. It's crazy. My father feared success. It's the most and I didn't realize this till I grew up because I didn't know. This is my dad. This is what it is, right? Yeah. Like he would do everything to make sure I win. But for him to win, he would do something to shut himself off.
Wow.
A lot of people do that, though.
I mean, I do that sometimes, you know? And I think that fear, as my mentor said today, shout out Sid Williams, fear is just false evidence appearing real. And it really is. Until you find evidence for the fear that you have, it's not real. It's false. It's not real. And for you, you know, like, I mean, dude, that's for me, like as a son of a dad who also struggled with that, you know, like he's brilliant. I mean, brilliant, beyond brilliant, but never crossed that line, but always got us there.
Yes.
Always made sure that we were there. And that's sacrifice. And I think that's a part of, you know, parenting. That's a part of just being a parent. Just being,
but
you know.
I fear that somehow I'm like that. because that's all I know. I know success.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like for people to go, oh shit, look at him. That's right. But my children don't know that. Right. And then there's so much pulling against them today that things that I don't even have any clue. Like my daughter's like, oh my God, Dad, don't post that picture. Like, why? I don't look right. I'm like, you don't have to be camera ready every freaking time you take a picture. Yes, you do. No, you don't. But you think about it, this whole generation.
Oh, no,
What's she, 14 now?
She's 15.
She's 15.
I mean, both of y'all parents.
Yeah, we have daughters the same age.
You know?
But you know, like every kid is camera ready all the time.
I know.
Nobody's just like, you don't see a picture of somebody on Instagram or Facebook or whatever the heck it is. Like, you don't just see them like in the middle of a moment. You
might, and then they explain it in the caption. This is me being free, and being open, and being alive. You're like, yo, get out of here.
No,
with that.
It's not you being free, open, and alive. Why? Because you said you're free, open, and alive. That's posed picture. You know, I find it so difficult, man, to find anybody who like is just not trying to be perfect.
I
For real.
I agree.
You know, people who are listening to this, open up your Instagram, open up your Facebook, and look at the pictures. So you might find people like running down the street, but the people who are posting pictures, perfect.
All the followers.
Oh my God.
I mean, and it's so funny just to bring this up because, you know, I was talking to Joy about this today, you know, this whole generation of influencers and what actually influence are they making? And I think if anything, they're causing us to look in the mirror and go, nah, this ain't right. Let me push this to the side. Let me pull this up. And it's sad because for a 14-year-old, I didn't have that opportunity to have that conversation with myself. I had a different conversation, but at the same time, it's like, I could not live with myself if I was, you know, 14 years old looking in the mirror every day and being like, I don't like what I see.
Dude, it's a false
or I need to fix
truth.
what I see. It is
a false truth that people are living, you know, and it makes it difficult, man, for the kids who live that regular life.
Yeah.
Right? Whether they live it in LA or they live it in Iowa.
Exactly.
They got a regular life and they're like ashamed of it. Dude, don't be ashamed of who you are because that's all you're going to be until you change.
Right. After growing up boxing, did you want your kids to be in boxing or not at all?
Not at all.
Right.
And why not?
I thought it would be great to teach them how to fight, but the more you learn how to fight, the less you want to do it. It's crazy, but it is because like if somebody wanted to challenge me, I've been challenged to fights I'm like 46 years old. I'm like, dude, well, I'm not fucking fighting you, bro. but on the other side of that is like, I'm gonna hit you. I guarantee I'm gonna knock you out. Right? I'm telling you, I'm gonna I will knock you. And then after I knock you out, I'm gonna go through your pockets. I'm gonna take every dime you got. I am from Long Beach, bro. So you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have a black eye, broke,
pockets out,
and really.
And then you can Instagram it.
Okay. Somebody go.
Get it right there. That's perfect.
Bam.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and then all your friends are gonna know you got beat up, and you didn't even get a shot in. Right?
So that's why at 46, he ain't knocking nobody out right now.
Dude, I'm just like, you know what you want.
Got the energy for that. Now, you know, I'm always curious as to how people deal with having older siblings, because I'm the youngest.
Right.
And having older siblings is it's just interesting being the youngest. You know, you have pressure that you don't know. It's just a lot. Now, I had an oldest brother pass away 2 years ago.
No, sorry for that.
And I've shaped a lot of my new perspectives of life and everything around that, because I thought that was at first when it had happened to me was the biggest loss that ever happened in my life.
True.
But in this day and age, as I sit here right now in front of you, it's the greatest gain, if anything, in my life, because it's giving me an outlet. It's giving me someone that I know is looking out for me on the other side to make sure that this little life I have goes accordingly. So with you having brothers, now, I mean, how would your brothers treat you? Like how did that work in your household?
So my brothers, and they have today turned out to be great men.
I love that.
I say turned out to be great.
It took a long time.
Because it took like we have a dad,
Yeah.
but we didn't have a dad.
Oh.
Right? We have a mom. Well, she was kind of like, like a goalie, like pushing things around,
I feel you.
rather than straightening shit out, And then my brothers, like they turned to drugs and alcohol young, 12, 13, 14, and then crime because they, shit happened.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so like they spent the better part of their childhood and young adulthood in prison, in jail, in prison. And I remember going to see my brother in jail and going to see my other brother in prison, like, wow. And then like, true story, one got locked up. I'm gonna make up the months because I don't remember. One got locked up in January, arrested. And one got arrested in January, and the other one got arrested in February. And then they go to the Twin Towers downtown. It's a thing in LA and then one's on the 5th floor, and one's on the 6th floor. And then they go to court like a year later. All right, you dummy, you go into El Central Prison, 6 years. Go. The next month, the other brother goes to court. You're going to El Central Prison, 7 years. Go. So they both get sent to the same prison, and they're on different yards. And then over the years, they get transferred to the higher level, lower level, whatever.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. The last year, same jail, same cell, same brothers in the same cell. Swear to God.
Yo,
That's wild shit.
that's wow.
How old were your brothers at the time?
At the time of arrest, I think like early to mid 30s, somewhere like that.
And at the time you were training and your brothers were going in and out of jail, but your dad kept focus on you staying out of trouble.
My father's kept focus on me like to the point where it was annoying.
So you were the good son?
I don't know how good it was. But
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, yeah,
you
yeah,
have
like-
two that
like,
can't see the fuck out of trouble.
for lack of a better term, yeah, I was the good son. I was a good kid. And then my sister, I have 2 older sisters, and they're like, you know what I mean? Because everything good happens to me. And dude, we live in the hood, boy. Ain't much happening good. Trust me. You know what I mean? But the thing is, like, so there's this thing called Operation Gold, which is like Team USA will I'll give you a stipend, and I don't know, it's like $300 a month or whatever. So I would get $300 a month from the state, well, from the boxing organization, for the Olympic Committee for food, because they know a lot of boxers, a lot of athletes don't really have enough. So
A lot of athletes.
they give you a little something just to tide you over. So I was making $300 a month. I was like, shit, I could do this all fucking year. You know what I mean? And then for me, I'm like 14 years old, get $300. It's like, man, I'm living
Balling.
You know what I'm saying? I got Doritos. I can buy me some chips, some Cheetos. I can buy me some new shoestrings.
Freeze pops.
You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
man.
But at the end of the day, like I worked for every dime I've ever gotten. And nobody ever given me shit. People say, well, you're a boxer, you make a lot of money. I said, no, I'm a boxer. I earned a lot of money.
Knock people out for that money. Huh?
Yeah, or got knocked out
Yeah,
for
exactly.
that money, or got beat up and got cut. See, why my eyebrows don't grow? Because
I
I've
see
been
it.
cut. Why my hands don't close? Because I have arthritis, and I'm only 46 years old. I have arthritis. Like,
How do you feel about boxing now today compared
Yeah,
to
what's the modern-
when you from the last time you 15 years ago you fought? Or whatever?
I think the fighters here have no, for lack of a better term, soul. Right? Like Anthony Joshua got knocked out
Got his ass
dead
mollywopped.
by a dude like that. I never fought this guy, but I fought guys like him
Right.
many times. And you just like, if you have boxing roots, you know that this guy, you'll never knock him out. You can beat him, but you'll never knock him out. You can't kick him hard enough to hurt him. So why would you? Why would you just box him and get your rounds in, make your money, and go home?
Right.
But if you don't have that boxing background, you don't know that. And these guys, I think there's just a lot of them are very just hollow. Example, like the rappers out today, one-hitter quitters. Right? There's not an EPMD album or Boogie Down Productions album or Ice Cube album where you can rock the whole thing. and maybe only hear 10 cuss words in the whole record. Now it's like they got songs. That's all they do is cuss.
I don't even know any of the words anymore.
I can't. I hear it. I just turn that crap off because it's so ridiculous to me.
Well, if we believe that music speaks to our soul, our heartbeat, then we would definitely be more discerning of the music that we listen to. A lot of these youngins, I don't know what the fuck they listen to. It is ridiculous.
Wow. I hear one note. I'm like, oh, turn it off.
When you coming up, when you were boxing, when did your dad was your dad Muslim, or how did you become?
How I convert? No, my father was spiritual.
He was
spiritual, like, and he's a Southern boy. He's from Mississippi, Iowa area, so he that whole Southern, Southern Baptist and people grabbing the ghost and all that. I think it's
the Holy Ghost.
I think it's a bunch of bullshit, but that's me. But I don't knock or defend. If that's you,
that's
your thing, right? Yeah. Everybody has and identifies in their own way. So hey, do what you do, right? The church that my parents sent us to, mind you, my mother's white, my father's black. No mistake in that. He's not like my dad. He's mulatto. No, my dad's black, brown black. Like blue black, like your ass.
Blue black.
That's me.
No, but so like, and this is so long ago. I don't even know if it's true anymore. But this is something that was told to me, and I believe it. And my sister, whatever, they would not marry a white woman and a black man. The church, and this is like early '80s, right? And I was like, what? And then it was like a Baptist church, and like but it was a white Baptist church. When I say white, it was like 99% of the people white. And I was just like, that makes no sense to me. And so I started, like going into different religions, meaning like I was at 13, 14 years old, I started, maybe, I'll be Catholic because Catholic works. And I was like, Catholic's a bunch of bullshit too. And then, I said like, I'll be Jewish. And they go, you can't be Jewish. And why? Because you're not Jewish. And okay. I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay. I didn't know. You don't know. And then a friend was like, man, I got the Nation of Islam. They, all the, with the brothers and the black, and I'm saying, say power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power,
right?
Okay, the people, like strong. And then so I went to a couple mosques that are FOI, Fruit of Islam, and like I was like, yeah, black power, yeah, black power. And then I go, excuse me, officer, minister, person, my mom's white, so. Black power, my mom's white. And they didn't really like, well, the white devil. I'm like, dude, that's what the fuck, bro. You can't really do that. And my mom's white. Like, my
can't
whole
say
life.
That.
You can say it, but fuck. Don't say it to me. I'm like, dude. And then my mother actually was like, that's not religion. That's that black hogwash bullshit. And I was like, well, Mom, what should I do? She said, well, if you're going to be a Muslim, then you should go and learn true Islam. Yeah. And I was like, well, how do you do that? She got to read a book. I was like, oh, great. I got to read some shit. But she's like, read a book, find out. Like, she's like, dude, if you're going to do something, then
learn it.
Like, educate, learn yourself, learn it. And then make your decision. She's like, do it the way that like a proper person would do it. And I was like, so I did. And I realized, then I identified, I was like, yeah, because like there's no God but God. There's no two gods, there's no three gods, there's one God. And the Jews believe that, and the Muslims believe that. Jews and Muslims are very similar, only they got this little thing that they hate each other. But like, I don't fucking hate nobody. So I'm like, ain't got nothing to do with me. So, I mean, over years of studying and religion, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm Muslim. I like it. Cool. And I'm like today, I would say I'm just more spiritual than anything. Hey, man, love who you love. Do what you got to do. And keep just keep yourself humble and honest.
Now, I'm going to go back to the boxing because I love boxing. And I think one of the things that you showed us before the show was when you had the 10-second knockout.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've never seen somebody get knocked out that fast. How does it feel to walk in the ring and just within seconds he's on the ground? Personally, how does that feel?
Yeah, I do. It feels like It is the greatest feeling to know that what you've done, what you practiced for, you trained for, you worked hard to do, you did it and you won.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of it, like now, I look out and go, oh damn, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Oops. You know, I mean, like at the time, I was like, yeah, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you too. Hold on, move. Hey,
Let me
move.
kill you.
Wait, move. You got, hey, right there, move you. I'll kill you. If that's all you know is like winning is most important, then fuck, knocking somebody out is the decision maker. Like, I knocked you out, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to wait for the judges. I don't have to wait for the ref. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great feeling, but you know, you can't like if you hit a baseball or throw a winning pass to the, like, you don't know it's gonna happen until it happens, and then the true reaction to it is what you really feel. You know, like I hit the dude, I dropped him, and it was what 8-10 seconds, but in my head is he's gonna get back up, and I'm gonna jump on him, and I'm gonna close this show as soon as I can. That's the way I think, and that's the way most fighters think. Because when we drop somebody, it could be a flash, it could be out, you know, and he the way he dropped, I was like, okay, he's getting back up, and so in my head it's like, okay, I'm gonna hit him, I'm gonna go right back to the body, have him drop his hands, then put my hand, then I hit him up on top again, but he did, you know, he's like he was out.
He was out. If you guys look up Jeremy Williams on YouTube, you're gonna find that 10-second knockout too. And then you said now you would feel bad, not necessarily bad, but you'd be like, damn, bro, damn. And that's kind of how I feel about football. Like, I play ball and I used to try to run my fucking face through somebody's face. Like, if my brother will tell you, everybody tell you, I used to try to murder people on the field because I had so much aggression I was trying to get out. And now at 31, having been removed from football for almost 10 years, I look at the game and I'm like, damn, you got a bunch of brothers out there trying to knock and kill out a bunch of brothers.
Man,
it just don't look right.
It doesn't.
It just don't look right no more.
I watch boxing and I go, ooh. Like, damn, that's this. Ooh, shit.
So what do you think of like today's sports?
I think, man, it's so watered down.
Yeah.
It's so watered down. Like, the only sport that really hasn't changed much, crazy, golf. That's probably because I don't watch it much, but people but yeah, I watch golf and I go, it's the same sport. Man. I watch basketball, I go, oh, they can't do this? Oh, what, they can't do that?
Exactly.
Man?
Yeah.
I watch football, can't
use your head, can't use your legs,
right.
Can't use your hands.
Right. You can only touch the quarterback after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is a watered down version of what we're used to. But I mean, also on the other side of that is kids are bigger, stronger, faster.
Which is why we need to water it down, because they're hurting each other.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's something that, you know, as a boxer, all your life was kind of spent inflicting pain.
Yeah.
And so how does like as someone who now sits in the seat of spirituality now, like, how does that feel? You know, as far as like, do you still have that yearn to go in and like knock somebody out, or like how does that work in your life now?
And it's still, I'm still growing out of it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I boxed for 40. I'm 46 years old. I boxed for 40 years, and it's crazy. The boxing is not a reality, right? Because you don't just walk up to somebody, punch them in the face, and, hey, motherfucker, how you doing? You know, but it is not. You know what I mean?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, but you think about, like, in boxing, we don't need. I don't even know you. You don't even know me.
Yeah.
You signed a contract to fight me. I signed a contract to fight you. I've never met you. I seen you fight on TV, right? Because we didn't have YouTube. You see me fight on TV. You see me fight on TV. Oh, I could beat him. And I said, shit, I could beat him, right? And then we meet at the press conference. We shake hands. I size you up. You size me up. I'm an asshole. You're not. I'm about to fuck you up, man. And you go, yeah, bitch, whatever. And that's our whole conversation. 6 weeks later, we come back. Next time when I see each other, we're weighing in. You're 170 pounds. I'm 170 pounds. We're ready. You know, tomorrow we fight. Right? That's it, man. And it's like, nowadays, you could just, it's crazy. It's like, oh, I was Instagramming that dude. I seen that motherfucker fight over there, and then he was on YouTube. I was like, huh? What? Dude, like, okay. Then what? You know what I mean? Like, oh, fucking because you can do so much more research.
I know.
Now that with me, I just was like, man, fuck, I'll fight. He said, I'll fight anybody. And you go, really? I go, yeah. What about him? Yeah. What about him? Yeah. What about him? Maybe. I don't really know. Like, perhaps.
Now, like, how'd you meet Joey?
I met Joey. We both lived at the time in the Valley, in California, in San Fernando Valley. Our friend Juan Bonilla is a friend of his, friend of mine. My neighbor, his friend. And he's like, we're in Florida training, and he's like, this is my friend Joey. I'm like, where you live? He's like, I live in Sherman Oaks. I was like, I do too. Like, his office is like right around the corner from my house. And then we just became friends, right? And then just like, I don't know, we're probably 25 years later, we're still friends.
Yeah.
It's just
he still trains Dax. He trains my
Train
son
your son?
still, yeah.
And you've seen
And on and off, I train my other kids all the way through,
Okay, I want him to train me next. So you saw Joey before his awakening, prior to him kind of having the oneness, the feeling of you just united with the planet. What did you see before his awakening as far as like, what's the difference in Joey now?
So the difference in it's like night and day.
Yeah.
Like, I never met anybody who was a true hustler. I'm not talking about like a little Charlie Street hustle dude. I'm like a proper fucking hustler. Like, there's a problem, tell this dude, fix it. Within a day, within 2 days. If there's an issue somebody had, there's like, we need X amount of dollars because we need to go do this because this thing is that. Boom. This guy, I mean, like, truly, like, very, very smart guy. Very, very smart guy. Very resourceful.
Thank you.
And very, like, dedicated to his hustle. But I'm not talking about the hustle for a fucking 3-car Molly hustle. I'm talking about business hustle. I learned a lot of business from him. And like, I don't really talk much, so I'm like, he would do stuff and I would just listen, because I'm like, I want to learn what it takes to do what you do, right? Because obviously you're doing it and you're successful. So
how can I get there?
How can I get there?
And there was a show I think he mentioned called The Consultants. That never actually came to fruition. But what was your role in that?
I was my idea.
Tell us about it.
With the consultants. The consultants were like a group of, like, for lack of a better term, A-team type people, like different characters. You're the smart guy. You're the shafty guy. You're the driver. You're the tough guy. You're this, and it's a group of people that would go and they would solve problems for other people. The consultants, it's the idea. Like, we consult with these people and there's a problem. So then we send this team out and we fix it.
Huh.
Yeah, what happened was he said he had this idea, and I was like, I just wanted to go to the office. I was busy that day. So I said, my partner at the time, Alan Maroof, goes, if you get Rena Mero, we'll do it.
Oh, that's right.
And so you left, and he goes, like, he just wanted to get him out of the office. We didn't actually think he'd come back with Rena Mero. Swear, never thought in a million years, because at the time, she was like the biggest thing in wrestling at the time.
Oh, right, yeah.
She was huge, giant, huge. And he came back and he got Rena Mero. And we were like, damn, so that kept on. You get Dennis Rodman, Jeff Speakman. Yeah. There was a couple, like one thing led to another. People, yeah. So it almost got set up at NAPD, but at last minute it fell apart, but we got close.
You know what you get when you get close? You know what you get?
Talk to her.
Nothing. God damn.
True. Nothing.
No, you know what second place gets?
It felt good for a while though.
You know what second place gets?
What?
Forgot.
And that actually is. I'm glad you bring that up, because when I take a deep dive into your boxing history, into your career, it seems like you always got right there, right there, and it just didn't happen. So how does that feel? You know what I'm saying?
It feels bad because I was my worst enemy, because I believed I believed in myself on the surface, but emotionally, like I always thought I wasn't good enough. Which is, like I've done a lot, and I've made a lot of people happy, and I made a lot of people sad, and I made a lot of people, indifferent, and I've really just put myself in a position where, like, when it becomes too much, like my father, I fear success. To a certain extent. I won some titles, I won some this, and I won some that. But to be, and I'm not even talking about boxing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, for me to be consistently happy with myself, I've just now started to realize that what it takes, and it takes 100% what I do, not what the world does, not what is presented to me. It's like I take care of myself emotionally through giving positive energy out to people who work for me, work with me, and work around me.
I love that, and I can relate to that as well. As far as I think one of the hardest things that I've continued to deal with in my life is that I didn't make it professionally in football, and a lot of my friends did. A lot of people I still hang around, they still are there, and it's been tough for me because I had all the skills. I had more than all the skills. I had too much. So, I find that both of us suffer from the same thing as far as there's this core belief that, we're not good enough and that we can't get the job done, that we won't succeed. And I was telling someone recently that, when you're the pusher, it's different. Like when someone else is pushing you and directing all your steps, you don't have full belief in it because it's not your steps. It's like he's just, go there, go there. So at 40 years old, you just told me that you won your first title.
I won my first world title at 40 years old.
And how and why?
Because I finally wanted it. I finally believed in myself. I finally said, okay, I deserve it. And I went, I fought the guy, and I beat the brakes off him. And then I was like, thank you, I'm done. I never fought again.
Really?
Yeah.
That is wow.
They offered me, wait, you can go to England and fight this guy for X, and you can go to China, you can do a show over there for Y, and you can do this and you can do that. And I'm like, I'm done, man. I'm done. Like, I don't, it's not about money. Right? I would have fought this fight for free because it's not about money. It's something like I won the world title when I wanted to win it. And it was not, my father wasn't, he was there, but he wasn't in my corner. And my mother had passed away, and I had talked to her, and I was like, I went into the ring, I already knew I won. When I fought Akawande, right? This is a guy named Henry Akawande, English Nigerian dude.
That was for the heavyweight title, right?
Yeah, but mind you, look, so today I'm sitting here having this conversation with you, and I'm already fighting in a week. Fucking tomorrow. But I'm having a conversation with you today, interviewing about the fight. And tomorrow, I'm fighting a guy named Joe Blow. True story. I forgot the guy's name. Right? And they go, hey, you know what? The Alexander Zokin, Henry Akawande fight fell out. Your fight's off. It's $100,000 I was going to make.
Oh.
Right? And I was like, because I was spending that money already. And then they go, you know what? If you fight Henry Akawande, we'll give you $600,000 for the same fight you were going to do anyways. And if you win, you're a WBO heavyweight champion. If you don't, no, they don't say if you don't. They say if you win, you're a world champion. And you get $600,000 in your next fight, you'll fight Alexander Zokin, you make $5 million or $2 million or whatever. And I was like, how tall is he? Like 6'9".
What?
mind you,
He's huge.
I'm a proper 6'1" ish. Like maybe if I take my like I'm big, but that's some bitches. Anyway, but so it was like, so this is my in true story. This is how boxing works. This is how it works. So if you don't fight, the whole show's off. So the $100,000 you're gonna make that cost me $10,000 to train for this fight, you're just gonna have to eat it because we're not gonna give it to you back. The whole show's off. Everybody goes home. Thank you very much. Bye, bye, bye. Or you fight the guy and you make $600,000, win or lose, $600,000. And if you win, you're a world champion.
The champion, heavyweight champion. It was for the
For WBO heavyweight champion. Tomorrow. But the fight is, and this is today, what are we like, 4 or 5 o'clock here, right? It's the same shit, like tomorrow. So fight this 6'9" dude, or fight the other guy who's 6'2", who you're trained for, or fight him. But if you don't fight him, show's off. Okay, I'll fight. Right? What's the worst thing's gonna happen? You get knocked out. No big deal. Right? I'm like, I ain't worried about that. I'm about to beat this motherfucker. Right? Scared to death. I'm 22, 23 years old. I'm a kid. If you look at the picture of me, I'm like this skinny kid, like fighting this dude who's this skinny 6'9" dude who was like trained for 6 weeks, 8 weeks to fight for the world championship. I trained 0 days to fight for the world championship. Not saying I didn't train hard, but I didn't train hard for that guy. I trained hard for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and at the end of the day, I'm $10,000 into this fight, you know, for training fees and da da da. So I'm not rich at this time. I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Just check him, just fight him, JB, just go. Da, 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 da. We'll give you $10,000 for your training expenses here. Now what the fuck do? Okay. And I was scared. No, I was truly scared, but I was like, what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And there was like nothing that I did that would have made me say, I shouldn't do this.
At that point in your career, did that fight after that fight, did it fuck with you, being that you got to that point? That was, and having to make that decision in such a small amount of time to change your life for the rest of your life, and having to do that because that was it. That was the pinnacle of. That was it. That was the stage. That was. You worked your whole life to get right there and had to make that decision right there.
Yeah, it was you know, like the young 22-year-old guy was like, fuck it, I'll kill that motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. I'll kill him, blah, blah. And then the kid that lives inside of me, that everybody has with them, you know, it's like, wow, man, you just put yourself in a position that you don't know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because before I get into the ring to fight as a competitor, not spar, but when I fight, I have this emotional feeling. I have this thing that talks to me. The same thing that my father would be talking to me. I have this thing that talks to me, tells me what I'm gonna do. It tells me when I'm gonna do it, and it tells me what's gonna happen.
Wait, hold on. So wait. Wait a minute. So your dad he's not speaking to you, but there's something else.
Yeah.
Now I've heard this from Joya before. What is that something else? You know, what is that inner voice? What is that something else that's telling you and propelling you? What is that?
You know, I've never defined what it is,
mm-hmm.
but it's that same person that's talking to you right now, giving you the next question. You know that one?
No, yeah. Him, yeah, I know him. I know him real well.
No, but
wait, what did he just say?
But you know, we all have it. It's just, do we listen to it?
Exactly.
And as a professional athlete, as a football player, as a business owner, as a guy who's making decisions for other people and things in your life
on the daily, yeah.
And you're making them like right now. You're not just doing it yourself. I mean, it's your spirit, your God, your inner person that's driving you forward or pulling you away. And that person talks to me all the time, and it was telling me that, dude, this ain't right. This fight ain't right. And I should have listened to myself, but at the time I was too young to listen to myself because I didn't understand what that meant. Like if that happened today, I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. No, thanks. I don't need the money.
Hmm.
No, I would like it, but I'm good. You give me 6, 8, 10 weeks to train, different story. But to fight this dude tomorrow, never happened.
And it's
you only fucking know that
yeah.
after you've been through it.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you. There's no book on saying this is the way you prepare for life. Because my life is 100% different than his life, and 100% different than yours, 100% her. Like my life, fucking trouble. My life, beautiful. My life, inspirational. My life, dull and boring. My life. Yours, I don't know. But I know that's some of the parts in my life. And the boxing part of it ran my life for a long time. And then once I stopped it, I didn't know who I was. There's no rule, there's no book to tell you about the day after the day you retired. And there's no going away party. There's no congratulations, you did a great job. You don't get a watch and fucking a ring and
a plaque.
The coconut smile.
Good job.
No, I got inducted to the Hall of Fame, right?
Yep, Golden Gloves Hall of Fame.
And they gave me a plaque. I'm like, oh, great, yeah. But wait, spell my name wrong. Just gotta see my name.
It's not right. It's
They spell your name wrong.
You know,
That's funny.
And I give it back to them, and they go, "Oh yeah, we'll fix it. I appreciate the Hall of Fame. Thank you. I ain't seen that shit yet. There's already been another Hall of Fame induction, and I ain't got my shit back yet. So,
it's okay. You're gonna get it back.
That's some
Hall of Fame.
That's some spicy bullshit.
Hey, Golden Gloves. Give him his stuff back.
No, the Professional Boxing Hall of Fame.
Give him his stuff back.
Give me my thing. It's like
he just wants his thing. Give him
I
his
don't even-
plaque.
I don't even know what it is now. It's like a plaque or it's like a picture plaque or.
Now I'm
some
gonna come back to this idea of channeling. I've been I had a phone call today, and that's what we were talking about, because I was saying that when I teach classes, the Jacy method, I channel, because I don't even know where the messages are coming from. I don't know what's happening. There are things that are coming out of my mouth that I have no idea or no control over, and it's landing in all the right places. Now, Joey always discusses the same thing as far as that's how we connected. We connected on the spiritual tip as far as he grabs information from above in the same fashion as I do. And as we all do, we're acknowledging that. Mm-hmm. And so have you. So when you were boxing, was there a different zone that you had to occupy and get into to knock somebody out? What takes
Zen
over
mode,
you?
Zen
is
mode,
it Zen mode?
But in Warrior Zen mode.
Warrior Zen. Like how do you knock somebody out? Like what?
So, and it's probably not even the answer you want, but dyslexic. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
Right? And I come from a white mother and a black father.
Yeah.
Too light to be white, not dark enough to be black.
Ain't that the truth?
I've been going through hell from people, not so much anymore, but when I was a kid, my whole life. And what drive me to be the best fighter I want to be is I'm gonna beat you so fucking bad that anytime you see somebody in my color, you're gonna walk the other direction.
Damn.
And if me and you fought, I would beat the fuck out of you. I mean,
you're talking to me right now.
I would beat you. Like my mother, rest in peace, would say, like, I fight dark-skinned black men harder than I fight anybody. Because growing up, that's who gave me the most trouble. That's who I was the most scared of.
Wow, that's deep.
And so for me,
that's
like
deep.
I play. Today I have no issue with anybody.
Yeah.
I love it all.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, young teenager, preteen, teenager, junior high school, I'm like, man, I'm fuck you. Test me, I will guarantee I will hurt you, because I have no remorse. Completely different person now, but that was my thing. Like that idea of if I can hurt you, and I know I can hurt you, I
I'm
can
gonna
hurt
do
you
it.
physically, right? Like people were like, "Ooh, no, oh that motherfucker box," and somebody be like, "Nah, I fucked that nigga up."
Over.
And I'd be like,
Come on.
"Who the fuck you talking to? Who you talking to me?" And straight away, no issue, no second. Like I walk up on him, and then he started being like, bam, sleep like straight away.
It's crazy what you say about the light skin, dark skin thing.
Yeah,
Because people don't think that colorism is real, and it very much is. Even in the Black community, there's sections that we belong to, which is so crazy. You know, it's so crazy to fit into an identity that also separates you into another identity. And I found that when I was growing up, because I was the only Black kid in my school for years.
wow.
I mean, like years, and it used to affect me, and it still affects me today because it gave me a comfort zone that wasn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me a comfort zone into white communities that I didn't live in,
But
or that
the ones who don't know you don't accept you.
don't exactly, because I go back home coming from private school and I'm talking a little different, and I might wear seersucker suits or I might wear Doc Martens, and there's a problem with that. People look at me like, "Oh, nigga, you ain't one of us," and I'm over here like, well, I know I'm not one of y'all. And so for me, it was the same thing. I grew up in a very dual world as far as like I didn't know who the fuck I was growing up, because I was going to school with people who didn't look like me, coming home with people who did look like me, and I didn't fit into both communities.
It's difficult.
You know? So it was tough. And I think that it boils down to the main idea or concept that we're categorized as human beings, and that we are supposed to fit into this boxed identity of this or that. And I think, you know, as three brothers that share a likeness as men, we all don't look alike, but do we have similar thoughts? Have we gone through a similar path in life? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm trying to get to in my own life, is to show people that despite your story, despite all of our stories, it's all interconnected. You know, like it all weaves. So
It's and it is it's crazy because I have 3 sons.
Mhm.
Shit, wait, home shit. I got 4 sons.
He's like,
It happens. Right? Come back.
I have 4 sons, man, and the things that and one looks like a big ass Samoan. One looks like a little Puerto Rican. One is like 12, and he just looks like a little like regular, whatever regular is. And then my other son is brown skin like me. I'm like, dude, you guys look like a Benetton player. It's fucking crazy. But you know, but I see how, like, one of my sons is brown skinned, and he, you know, he's trying so hard to identify Black. One of my sons, he's a big old son of a bitch, and he's trying so hard to identify with being different. Which is like, I'm like, dude, you don't identify with that. You're different. See how it works? You're different.
See how it works?
You did it. You succeeded.
Yeah,
High five. Get to work.
My other son is like, he's trying so hard to be the hardest gangster type ish person, and just like,
Which one is that?
Elijah.
Elijah?
I ain't like, you know, got a tattoo and I got hair. I'm like, whatever, nigga, cool. And I'm like,
Stop.
you know, he's like, they look 100% Puerto Rican, but they look like his color, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, son, you know, when people see you walking around like with cornrows, son, they think, look at that white boy with cornrows. That's not cool. Nobody really likes that. That's like, you can do what you want to do. I'm just gonna say, gotta go cornrows.
Whatever, Dad.
I do, and they act like I have no idea. Like, son, I grew up being mixed. Just trust me, I know. But you know, it's a different time, it's a different area. But it's just the like, my kids grew up in the valley. I grew up on the east side of Long Beach. Like, you motherfuckers are harder than me, but you grew up in the valley. I'm sorry, Granada Hills. They grew up, you know what I mean? I grew up on the east side of Long Beach. Like, that's kind of a little tougher than most California neighborhoods.
Well, it's the culture. You know, you look at music, you look at hip hop. You look at everything that encompasses Black culture in this country, and there's this edge to it.
Is it? But is it Black culture? Or is it just?
I think it's just culture.
Is it it's just culture?
I think in this country, it's we've created a cultural norm that is encompassing of everything.
It's crazy because like I see some white boy walking down the street sagging their pants. It's like,
oh yeah.
When I was growing up, if you was a gangster if you sagged, and if you're not a gangster, you don't sag. But I feel like white boy, I'm like, baby, pull him up. Hey, bro. I was a black guy. Hey, bro, your pants are falling. Your pants, like, cause you have red underwear. I see him.
See him. See your drawers.
I see him. You got like tighty. I don't know.
Fruit of the Loom.
You got stuff on. You got things on that shouldn't. I don't want to see like you in your pants.
That's the culture, though. The culture allows for everything, and that's what this bridge is that we're trying to create, is to show people that inherent in pop culture is this also very conscious community, as far as like, in order for these people, actors, singers, to climb the highest heights, they have to be conscious. They have to be tapping into something, because they're eclipsing things that humans aren't even designed to do. And I think that that's where we meet now. It's like, you look out in the world, you look at all the most successful people, whether it's business or whether it's spirituality, even business, or whether it's sport or anything, they'll tell you themselves that they take on different energies because they have to. Man,
the craziest shit. I mean, I don't know if it's on this subject, but it's different. Like, I turned on the news this morning, CNBC, and Kim Kardashian is. Dude, I've never been a fan. Never. I don't know if I am now. But she's on CNN this morning, standing or sitting next to the president of the United States, talking about this initiative to help people who just get out of jail, like get their lives back on track, right? And she had this huge, 10-minute dissertation of how she's doing these things and how we can help. And I was like, I've never been a fan of this woman, but this, I would help.
Exactly.
It is the crazy. Like, I'm like, isn't she the one that was?
Here's what happened. She recognized her powers, and I think that's what a lot of the people in pop culture, when they recognize who they are, they want to do better because they know that they have a platform that's big enough and wide enough to actually deliver messages that can touch people.
Man, I was
people. Her and Kanye both are like.
Her and Kanye are definitely digging into some things that are very much, because the mental health conversation is what we always talk about, and I think Kanye talks about it a lot because he suffers from bipolar, or not suffer. He actually is better because of it, but it's given him this very wild mind. It's like a monkey mind. It goes here, it goes there, it goes there, but he is actually, standing up for all of us that are also suffering from depression and from being categorized with diseases that we don't have or conditions that we don't have. We just, categories to fit into. And so,
but on the other side of that is everybody's bipolar. Everybody is. Oh my God, PTSD. I need a comfort animal. Hey, grow the fuck up. Give me a comfort animal.
It's funny though, because a stand-up comedian was saying that now he gets on the plane and it's like a fucking zoo. I mean, I think that's everything that we've talked about as far as when it comes to your career, Joey's life, my life. I love finding all the different commonalities that exist. I think that's the point of this whole show, is a show that we're all very different, but almost like we're also very much alike. All of us, every human being alive right now that has a heart beating and a mind that can think and a mouth that can speak and ears that can hear, we're all very much similar. And that's what this is about. You've had a very wild life. Grew up in Long Beach and things that I've never had to deal with. I've never had to box. But I understand so much about your life because of what you've gone through emotionally and what you've gone through on the spiritual side of things. So, that's where, I always feel Joey, because when he told me about his awakening, I knew that something in me was awakening too at that time. I knew that something was burgeoning in me that I didn't understand. And so like you were able to see a lot of different sides of Joey. And you were also one of, the main people as far as training Joey's children. So when Joey was going through all the things that he was going through as far as experiencing his awakening and his family being there and witnessing it, what were they telling you? Like, what were the things that you were hearing from the peanut gallery, I would say?
That dad is going through, like, very very measured with their work, you know.
Very measured with that's.
But you know, like at the end of the day, like they love their father. You know, like don't say anything about my dad. And I wouldn't. I've never. He's been my boy for 20 plus years. So I know him, but I didn't know that he had just like reinvented himself or awakening or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? And they tell me, you know, when he was just there standing, and he looked over, he got up and said, "Oh shit!" And then somebody fell over there.
It was like that, yeah.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, but it is like, and then like, he's always been a little off, but
ish,
but crazy smart.
Yeah.
The key is crazy, but smart. Like things, you know, like a lot of things you go, "Fuck's wrong with you, bro?" And then it happens, you go, "Oh, I didn't know." But it seems as he's kind of calming or pulling himself back down or together, or for lack of a better term, wrangling what he wants to be as an individual, as a human, as a person that's gonna give. 'Cause I remember before it was all about me. When I say me, I mean him. You know, and him and his family, like, oh, I need mine. Where? And I want this house, and I want these cars, I want this car, and I want this clothes, and I want this, and I want my business, and my wife, and my kids, this, and oh, this house not big enough anymore. I want this house, and I'm gonna get this house, and I'm gonna get this car, and my kids are gonna wear these clothes, and they're gonna go to this school, and then, oh shit, I don't want that house no more. It's not big enough. I want that house, dude. 6-8 homes in like 5 years, 6 years, and I'm like, and each one bigger and more exquisite than the other. And all I was like, damn. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter what you got, it's who you are. You know, and he's always been cool to me, and he's always, if I've ever needed help, he helped me every time. And would give me his shirt off his back if he knew I was cold. It wouldn't fit, but it's just, but you know, he's been a true friend for many years, and I would
yes sir, thank you.
And I wouldn't turn my back on him if someone paid me to.
And then, you know, it's
But it depends on how much they pay, though. If they pay a lot,
this guy here.
There he is.
if they
600 grand.
No, if they say like $50, I'm like,
There it is.
maybe.
Well, what things going on right now in your life?
Okay,
do you want to highlight? Like, what are you doing right now?
I own and operate and run a security company called Jaws Protection Service.
Jaws.
Yeah, because my initial is Jeremy Allen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Figures. No homework done there. Just you boxed for a while. What do you do now? Oh yeah, you're a security guard. But mind you, like I own a security company, but I'm the janitor and the fucking president. I'm everything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not too afraid to work.
Would you hire me?
Not really. Not really.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Simply because at night nobody would see you.
Damn, because I'm blue black. That's so terrible.
And you like,
I'm the blue black brother on
and
the
you
show.
like wearing black.
I do like wearing. I'm just going to see my teeth in my eyes.
That's that boy.
No, but it's
Well,
so I do. My security company is like it's my pride and joy. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy doing it.
You ever knock anybody out?
No.
Doing the whole security
pull
thing?
my gun, that kind of thing. But I don't like. I'm not really the guard anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But before, I mean, like, I do what I gotta do to win.
I understand it. Well, guys, listen. One last question, because I always like asking this question. If you had 1 hour left to live,
Oh, yo,
okay,
what's up?
What would you do?
I would spend it fucking breakdancing, bro.
Bam! What's up?
Bam! What you doing? Boxing and breakdancing. Did you actually like breakdancing growing up? Is that a thing? Did you breakdance?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on,
I
bro.
wasn't very good, but
Everybody broke.
Did you know the top rock? I can breakdance a little bit. You know, windmills and
you
everything.
mean up rock?
Is it Up Rock? Is that what it's called?
Up Rock.
Well, now they call it Top Rock.
Dude, I was good enough to be like on the breakdancing crew. I was good enough to be like the opening guy. And then like the dude would jump out and do something better than the homie jump up. I got you, dog. It's because I have white genes.
You
bro.
do, yeah. That
So,
is,
I mean, you know, like-
it happens.
I would kick worm. You would like do windmills. I'm like,
I ain't got that in my wheelhouse. Now, Joey, what would you do for the last hour?
I guess I just pray.
I guess that's all you can do with an hour left.
What you gonna pray for?
What
you praying for?
You already know it's ending. No, if I had an hour left, let me see.
I mean, you already gonna die.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
yeah. If I had an hour left,
Pray, meditate. So, you know,
I'm honestly, I'm
chill.
gonna call mama. You know, mama's still here. I'm gonna call mama and I'm like, Mama, thank you. And that's it. That's all mama want to hear. She's want to hear thank you. So I'm gonna call my mama and say, Mama, thank you. And then I'm gonna call my dad too. My bad, Dad. Call my dad too. Call my parents.
But you already gonna die. Who gives a fuck?
I know. That's why it's weird to even say. Yeah, I guess.
Wait.
I
Are
just
you
pray
dying?
too. No,
Or are you just
an hour left and it's over.
you evaporated?
You done. Sayonara.
You
Well, I
already-
guess I'm gonna pray too then.
well, it depends where you're at.
It does depend on where you're at.
You know, you be.
What's somebody you
in the
like?
back of a cab, and are you what they call the?
What if you're in an Uber pool?
You
what would you do if you're in an
what would
Uber
you
pool
do?
with
You
an hour
start-
left?
Yeah, you just
Grab the
like-
person next to you, just kiss
Yeah.
her. I don't know.
I would. Hey, you know what I would know? What else I do? I run into the supermarket and start biting fruit. Bang. Hey, what is this? What? That's a compound. Hey, compound. Oh, hey, who got the pineapple? Anybody got pineapple? Shit, I'm about to eat this pineapple. Give me a pineapple.
Oh God. Well, hey guys.
Hey, you gotta eat bananas like monkeys. You ever
Oh,
seen
yeah.
a monkey? I've been running by like high-fiving people.
That's exactly what you should be doing.
That's exactly what you should be doing. Well, listen. Today's episode has been incredible. Thank you, Jeremy, for showing up
I
today.
appreciate it.
Satnam.
Joey, thank you. Jacy, thank myself.
Satnam.
Sadnam. See you.
Thank you.